Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 3 of the World with Nate podcast. I'm your host, Nate Allison. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Mattress by Appointment Cedar Falls. Call or text to set up an appointment, visit the store, find your perfect mattress, and take it home that same day. It's that easy. Thank you, Katie, for supporting the podcast, and thanks to Mattress by Appointment Cedar Falls. So, this next guest stopped by quick while she was taking a break from amateur pickleball to chat. This is Dr. Colleen Nemmers. Thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Heck yeah. So you guys, and I say you guys, you're in a conglomeration of vets at your new clinic that you created, correct?
Correct. Yep. It's myself, my husband, and then we have an associate doctor.
What did the entry into veterinary medicine look like for you? Is that like a lifelong passion, or is that something that, you decided on after you got into school?
I was like 5 years old saying I was.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I knew.
For
I
your
knew
whole
right away.
life.
Yeah. Like I was always bringing animals home, turtles.
One of those.
Snakes, cats. Every cat we brought inside ended up staying inside. So I knew it right away. And like I went through grade school and was like, okay, I'm going to make sure like I'm really working on my biology in high school.
Wow.
And then when I went into college, I knew I was going like to be pre-vet, and I went to undergrad and it was like a bio major, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I knew it the whole time.
Never deterred away from that.
Nope, unwavering.
Dang.
The whole time.
From 5.
Yep.
And you say snakes, lizards, there was no apprehension?
Fear. No.
Not
You'll
a
still
single
catch
animal?
me, like, if there's a snake, I want to pick it up.
What is that? No matter what, you just want to check it out?
I do. I just can't handle myself. If you put a tarantula in my hand, I'm like, yep, let's go. Like any animal, I want it. And then like if I'm on a vacation, I'm always like, there's a dog. I can't help it.
So I didn't really understand until I first brought my dog in there. And seriously, you were down eye level with the dog, petting the dog. And it's like, this is my dog. Yes, you are like that with animals.
You just kind of connect.
You've always loved them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's my passion.
When you say veterinary medicine, the schooling, what's that like for this?
So you have to do an undergrad degree.
Okay.
And you have to have prerequisites. So I did the biology route, but you'll have to have like organic chemistry. You have to have bio. You have to have physiology. So you just have to meet the prerequisites. So a bio major will get you there most of the times.
Okay. And
then you have to apply to vet school. There was 28 schools when I was applying. I think there's like 30 something now.
Okay.
And
what sort of criteria are they looking for?
So you had to take the GREs.
Which is what?
It's I don't even know. Isn't that sad?
No, because
graduate something, or I don't even know.
Or something?
Well, yeah, it's like taking the MCATs for medical school or the LSATs for.
Gotcha.
But the GREs like to get in graduate programs. Like if you want to take like a BS in something or a master's in something, you have to take the GREs.
Gotcha.
So, but sometimes I don't think even some of the schools even require that anymore. So you have to take a standardized test.
Right.
Then they look at your GPA, and then some of them interview you, and then they want to see well-rounded.
Yeah.
Right.
Where were you at undergrad?
LaSalle University in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, East Coast. Is that where you grew up?
Yeah. I was born and raised Philadelphia.
Philadelphia city?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I wasn't downtown in a cement jungle. Like I was on the outskirts. I had animals in my backyard. Okay. Deer would walk up, or like there was like a park behind us. Yeah. But like
still enough city.
When you write my address, it's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19115.
Dang.
So it's Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then I went to like an all-girls private high school because I was like in Philly and my parents didn't want to send me to a public school. Yeah. Because the schools are not the best.
In Philadelphia at that time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then, of course, I like didn't go very far. My school was 11 miles from my house, but it's an hour drive.
Because of all the traffic. And
so it's far enough away.
Yeah.
And it's like LaSalle, Temple, Penn, Drexel. They're all in the Pennsylvania.
That's a pretty historic region, right?
Yeah.
Growing up there, that was a pretty different scenario than here. You're raising kids here now in Iowa.
I feel good about my choice.
Yeah.
Especially with how everything is
nowadays.
Yeah. It's just totally different. Like, I couldn't go to the public schools there. I mean, I could, but you walk through a metal detector. Yeah. And there's like huge segregations and like, the there's legit gangs.
Yeah.
So
big city problems.
Big city problems. So I'm really glad my kids can go to a public school. I trust it. I know the people.
In our little community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
I feel good about it.
Yeah. So when you're saying you want to go from LaSalle on the East Coast, and then Iowa's your next stop?
Iowa State. Yep.
Iowa State. So that was one of the schools that you applied to?
Yep. I actually applied. I was like, I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to go. So I applied to like 10 schools.
Yeah.
And I got my rejection letter from Penn. I was so sad.
Was that like your top pick? Because it was in state?
Yeah, University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But of course, it's like the most academic.
Right.
I think my GRE scores weren't high enough. And I was like, well.
That's out.
Yeah, that's out. So then I got into Iowa State like last minute too.
And at that point in time, I mean, Iowa State is still very highly regarded as a veterinary medicine.
I know.
Right?
I never would have thought. Like I just applied there on a whim. And actually,
you weren't totally aware of that?
No, I was not aware that it was like a good program. Like actually, they're like, that when I was there, the surgical program there was just top, amazing. Yeah. So I had no clue.
And now I looked it up, and it's actually ranked 3 times for 14th, still to this day. So it's still one of the top. Yeah. I mean, top half in the country.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things that you talk about spiritual. Somehow, someone led me there.
Yeah. And what was your experience there in Ames? Being from Philly, what'd you expect when you were going?
First, the funniest part was when I got the housing list.
Okay.
It was like 1976 Winnebago or something. Or it was the name of a trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting an apartment housing list. And I was like, what is this? And they're like, it's a trailer.
For where you could stay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were like, we live in a trailer park. And I was like, okay.
You didn't know what you were getting.
I didn't know. Like, no one in Philadelphia no one really does that. Like, there's apartments, there's row homes, there's no trailer parks. So then I call and I talk to that's normal. The vet school has like a trailer park right behind it. I was like, okay. So that was my first.
You got freaked out by that.
I got freaked out by it, and then I got there, and I met everyone, and right away clicked. I actually met Ben on like day one, my husband.
So Ben's your husband, yeah.
Yeah.
So he was at Iowa State as well.
Same class, same orientation, and they like break you up into groups. And he was like in my group. And like right away, like we met each other. And it was like right away, just kind of like, I think
that is awesome.
Going to be my person.
Yeah. Yeah. And now Iowa State, what brought him there? Is he from Iowa as well?
Cedar Falls, born and raised.
Oh, okay.
Then he went and played basketball at North Dakota State.
Oh, very cool.
He's a diehard Iowa fan.
Huh.
But Iowa does not have a vet school.
No.
And he actually thought about going to like dental school. His dad was a dentist. His sister's a dentist. And like wanted to potentially go to dental school, and then like applied to vet school on a whim.
And there he was.
With
you.
Yep. Got in no problem. Didn't put any effort in like I did.
A little jaded about that.
Yeah. A little butthurt by that. But anyways, so vet school was awesome.
When we're talking about, to me, that just seems so daunting. The coursework, I don't understand anything. Biology is not my strong suit. How was your experience? Tough?
Yeah. No, it was really hard. I actually got in there and I was worried. I was like, I don't want to fail out. Like, I'm like the only person from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And like, I was on a waiting list to get in there. And so I was like, okay, like.
There was a lot of pressure.
I was like, I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. At least I thought I was.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to just study so hard. And
hell yeah.
Anyways, I ended up graduating like top.
You can say
10th of my, I don't know. I think I was like the top 10 in the class.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, like I just had to put the work in, but it was hard. Like a lot
of work.
I mean, literally from 5 to 10, I would study. Like you get out and you're like, okay, I'm going to go work out and burn off some steam after class. And then you just sit down and it was harder than college, way harder.
Yeah.
Way harder. Like college, you have like one hard class. They're all hard classes.
Yeah.
That was like, no one prepares you for that.
And what sort of things are we learning? Like, dissecting animals?
So the first year, it's all like literally like physiology of every organ, meaning like how a kidney works, how the liver works, like on a molecular level, you know?
So that you can apply those across animals?
Yes. Okay. And then like anatomy. So like literally just memorizing every single muscle, nerve, bone, like just memory.
Yeah.
Just pure memorization. What else do we have? Like biochem, like just the first year is a lot of just basics. And then they start to do more specialized stuff, you know, like you'll have microbiology, like you're growing things and learning about the bacteria that we're
Wow.
going to diagnose, and in like large animals, cats, dogs, like all the
So
animals.
all of it's covered in college.
Yeah.
As far as how large of an animal are we talking about? Is zoology, is the study of zoo things different?
Totally different.
Okay.
And I don't even know. I think zoology is more like that's something that people will do in undergrad degree.
Okay.
I don't even know the extent
Where
of
that goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I think Ben's major or like minor
When he
was
was
zoology at
Huh.
undergrad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can go DNR or whatever. I didn't realize there were so many different facets in veterinary medicine as far as surgical. I mean, I'm kind of naive.
Ophthalmology, cardiology, anesthesiology.
All inside
We
of
all take
veterinary
those. We take
medicine.
pharmacology, microbiology, and then they'll do like reproduction of the cat and dog, reproduction of large animals. So you'll do like horse and cow, and they'll do like reproduction of, sheep and goat. And when we did dissection, we did cat and dog. And then there was a large animal one where it was like pig, cow. And then you had to like walk, like not everyone got a cow. There was like one person got a cow, one person got a sheep, one person had a pig. And then you had to like go over and learn it and, like rotate in your lab and stuff.
None of that sketched you out?
No, I loved it. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
Special breed.
Yeah.
You ate that right up.
I loved it.
Yeah. And so how many people are in your class when you're doing these sort of things? Are there a lot of people trying to become veterinarians?
Classes are like 120.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they have 4 years.
Yeah.
So 120 keep coming
500
in.
people.
Yeah.
By the time they're all done. Huh. And veterinary medicine is one of the things that Iowa State is known for. So I'm sure that's a pretty large.
Agriculture. They're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have a student that came to us at my work and like knew what she wanted to do, kind of like me, like knew it her whole life. And then she's like, I'm going to go to Iowa State. I'm going to study biology there. And then I'm going to go work at the school, and like knew exactly what she needed to do and
Get
I'm
to where
going to go.
she needs to. That is powerful.
Yeah. And actually she just found out she got it. And I was like, yay,
Hell yeah.
my baby got it. Like, like I like had her as a high school kid and I watched her like grow and do that. But like she knew like that's where I need to go because it's an ag state, or an ag school, I should say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, if you're in this area, take advantage of that,
Yeah, it's a great school. Like, I don't have anything bad to say about it. Like, I had an amazing experience. All the teachers are awesome. Like, I go back and I still see some that I know, and they're awesome.
So it's cool for me to hear because my oldest daughter has aspirations since 5 or 6 of veterinarian. So to hear that, people have done it, you want to do it, just do it.
Yeah. Well,
and if you love
she's got a connection.
Now,
that's why I tell people, like, seriously, like, I really feel like I'm going to have, like, a lineup of, like, high school kids that shadow me and show interest because everyone's like, wow, they know Colleen. And I'm like, I'll let them come in.
Yeah.
It's like you want a high school
Facilitate
kid, though.
that stuff.
Yeah. Like, where they just come watch me for a day and see what I do and see if they can handle it.
Yeah.
I've had some that can't. They come into surgery and they...
Squeamish. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never have probably experienced stuff like that.
I mean, I've gotten that way when I first started. I remember being, like, so nervous, and then you get so anxious, then you're like, you hear that ding, and you're like, I'm going to go down. Like, I think I'm going to faint.
Yeah.
Like my first surgery.
I can't imagine the nerves that go along with some of these things.
Yeah.
So when you're working, you do a plethora of stuff, correct? You do like routine visits, then you do surgeries as well?
So just routine day for me. So on Mondays, I'm in surgery. So my surgeries can be a rabbit neuter. It can be a dog like laceration that I have to repair. It can be a tumor I have to remove. We have
Holy
dentals.
Smokes.
We have dentals. So like I don't know what I'm getting into. Someone drops off their chihuahua that hasn't had a dental, and I have to extract half of its teeth.
So when do you get like your day? You show up at work and here's what you got going on today, Dr.
I mean, we
Nemmers.
schedule it.
Okay.
We schedule it, and then they know like maybe we should only schedule like 6 procedures based on this.
How time intensive they are?
Yes. But sometimes, I mean, it's like, Ben will come in and say, hey, and a dog ate something and there's a rock in its stomach.
Just an emergency.
Yeah, and I need we're going to fit this in. And I'm like, okay. So, and then I'm cutting it open and doing, it's called a gastrotomy to remove the rock out of the stomach. So stuff like that happens. Or a dog comes in bleeding and I have to like fix it up right away because it's not stopping the bleed until I literally fix it.
Yeah.
Or dogs can have like an internal rupture, like their spleen will rupture, and that's an emergency, and those will just walk in the door. So
when do you turn it off? You guys, I mean, somebody is maintaining the clinic phone?
So once we roll the phones at night.
Like, because it's a
Is that what you're
double-edged
asking?
sword, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a human and you need to have sleep.
Yes.
But in the same regard, people treat their animals like a human as well, and they need to be seen when there's an emergency.
Yeah. So we do call,
Yeah.
but we all rotate it.
Okay. And you said there's 3?
There's 3 of us.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I rotate call with Den Herder in Waterloo, too.
Okay. Yeah.
They have 6 vets. We have 3. It's been a great relationship because on the weekends, we rotate one every 9 weekends.
Yeah.
It has been like a game changer, especially for
You
Ben
wouldn't
and
be
I.
able to even do it.
Well, because it's Ben and I. When we were on call by ourselves, Ben, call, Ben,
Yeah.
call. And then, like, I'm there with him. You know, like,
First things, yes.
it's just constantly. Then we added Amanda, and that helped. But now that we've, like, had another practice, it's game changer.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Because meanwhile, I mean, you are raising kids as well.
Yeah.
And doing the basketball and all that stuff.
They're in
as
all
well,
the things
right?
now. Yeah. Like every weekend we have something. It's like basketball, volleyball, softball, competitive dance. We are like a glutton for punishment.
I know.
Like we just keep going.
I know, us too.
And then, like, thank God I have a sister-in-law that is type A and, like, gives me my schedule and the kids are in sports together.
Heck yeah.
So, like, thank God.
Saves you.
Thank God for carpools.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you
It's
have any
a
of that good
season.
stuff going on?
I'm usually the bus driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I
it's
do
hard.
get a little help. Shout out to those special parents that help. But
Yeah.
This season that we're in with raising younger kids that we want to keep involved.
Yeah.
Whew.
I know. It's a lot.
And then you're a veterinarian.
Yep.
And then you're opening your own practice. And then you guys expand.
Yeah. When we were at the old building, it was Ben and I, and like we were like, oh, I think we're outgrowing
So
this.
you were on Waterloo Road. That's where I first came to see you.
2015. So, okay, we were in Colorado for our first job.
So you graduate from, let's go back.
Yeah.
You guys graduate together, same class,
Yep.
Iowa State.
Yep, 09.
Even though we're Iowa fans.
Yeah, even that. Well, I'm not. I am inherently.
Okay,
inherently.
Good.
I will cheer for them.
Very good.
But I'm not born and raised Iowa,
Okay.
right? I'm not like
So
bleeding
it's
black and gold.
Yeah, I get it.
Eagles,
I get it.
Phillies.
Hey, we got that
yeah.
Philly tie.
So we graduate school in 09, and I actually thought I wanted to specialize. So I thought maybe I want to do surgery. Maybe I want to do internal medicine. Maybe I just want to do like general practice where I do everything. Maybe I want to be at a referral center.
Outside of what you went to school for, then
Yes.
there was more?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the human world, they graduate school, they have to do an internship 1 year.
Okay.
Then they have to do a residency and specialize, like pediatrician, cosmetic surgeon, EENT. We do not have to do that. We can just go right into practice. It's not required. So Ben went right into practice. I went into internship, and I matched with a place in Denver, Colorado.
Okay. So
So-
for the skill set you wanted to acquire or work on?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And that was an application process
Oh, yeah.
as well?
Yeah, I had to match, and like I had to go out and like interview with them. So I got into that, and that is basically equivalent to like 3 years of general practice. Because I would do emergencies, overnights. I was the emergency doctor.
All the time.
So, and you just get thrown in. They're
Yeah.
like, here you go. And they just,
hit the ground running.
yep, just sink or swim. And there's people that are there and around, and they're like, Nemmers, figure it out. Do it. It's a laceration. And I'm like, well, I've never done it before.
Super stressful.
And they're like, just figure it out. What would you do? And you're like, I guess I better look this up.
Yeah.
Because school doesn't prepare you for that stuff. They give you like the basics so you know what you're diagnosing, but you're like, well, I don't know step A, B, and C to get there. So did that. Ben worked in Colorado and Denver. And then I decided I don't actually want to specialize because I like everything. I want to see that puppy exam. I want to like help the old geriatric dog.
Yeah.
I want to have that like interaction routinely instead of like treat and street and then never see him again.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of felt like I wanted to do general practice.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, then I get to do dentals, and then I get to see the puppy, and then I get to see the sick animal and like work up that cool case.
Yeah.
And I can do as much as little as I want. Like if I'm not comfortable, I'm going to refer it.
Yeah.
So there is that crutch.
So refer it to specialist care.
Iowa State,
Gotcha.
where I graduated from, they have all the specialists.
Yeah.
They have the 24-hour hospital. Or Des Moines.
Are there quite a few cases like that need specialized care? Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Like what sort of things?
Hit by a car. Comes
Oh,
in,
yeah.
Pelvic fracture.
Lots of just a mess.
Diabetics that are crashing. Just dogs get
Just
sick.
like humans.
Yeah, they get sick quick, Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a pneumonia or like a respiratory distress. or they're like dehydrated, or they ate something they shouldn't have,
Yeah.
right? And it got
grapes.
Yeah, grapes,
Yeah.
toxin, and it needs to be hospitalized and flushed out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyways, we were in Colorado for 5.5 years. And then we came to a point where Ben was like going to buy his practice.
Out there, you were thinking about this? Okay.
We were thinking about it. And then we were like going through the process, applying for like a huge business loan. And his boss is like, I sold to corporate.
Oh.
I know. And here's the deal. We don't fault her for it. They will always give you more money than I can get approved to pay for. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's absolutely how it works.
And then we're sitting on a plane like 2 days after that, and some guy hears us like we're talking about numbers and business. And he leans over and he's like, "Hey, can you help it over here? You like, are you talking about like veterinary business acquisition?" We're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That's what I do."
Get out of town.
Yeah. And Ben and I were like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I work for, I think it was like one of the banks, and he does veterinary acquisition."
What are the chances of that?
I know. And then he's like, and I do it in the Midwest. And then so we started talking about like, well, maybe we should be looking at buying our own and going home.
Yeah.
So it was just like so weird.
That all happened.
So weird.
And on the plane.
And then we start, like he knows the area. So we cold call Dr. Mielek, who we bought the practice from. And he's like, Ben's like, what's your exit strategy? He's like, I don't have one.
Yeah.
But
I mean.
But I'm curious. Are you like thinking you want to buy the practice? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, let's meet.
Very cool.
And Ben like meets him, and I come and I meet his wife, and we meet them. They're like, we think this should happen. Let's do this.
Just the cojones to reach out and have that conversation. That stuff's tough.
I know. We just had to like cold call. We're like,
yeah.
Because it was that or try to open our own in this area. And
Brand
the whole
spanking new.
Yeah. And actually, you'd be surprised. It's actually saturated. Our area is saturated with vets.
Huh.
Like compared to other areas,
Yeah.
if you look at like the number of people and
For
animals per capita, whatever. Yeah, it's not good to just open. It's not recommended.
Here would not be recommended.
No, you want to buy someone's practice here. Yeah.
Huh. And with that comes their clients, per se. Or
Yes.
They're what they've built so far.
Yeah. So basically, we bought his practice.
He was an older gentleman.
Yeah, and I think he was in his 70s. He still practices at the Humane Society.
Jeez.
He's still going. He's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's
Just
still
because
going.
he loves to do it.
He loves to do it.
That's awesome.
He's got a passion.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And to be able to volunteer back your time, that I'm sure like that.
So that was in 2015. We had at the old building, and then we started outgrowing that place, and then we decided, well, maybe we should expand or move.
But at the last place, Waterloo Road, that was a way smaller than where you're at now.
It was about 2,600 square foot.
So you didn't have as many services when you were there.
We did not.
So what'd that look like, the discussion about, are there any other in our area that offer all the things you guys do? Talk about the services you guys offer.
Yeah, so we're full vet care.
Full vet.
I mean, full. You know, like everything from vaccines to surgery to ultrasound to x-ray to dentistry.
Okay.
Full veterinary service. And we do emergency for our clients, if you're an established client. And at the old place, we didn't have grooming. We have grooming now. And I mean, we have 4 groomers.
Yeah,
a bather.
It's busy.
And we actually like just renovated for them. So we have grooming.
Okay.
And then now we have boarding and doggy daycare. So that was like, if we're going to move, we're going to do this right.
Yeah.
Like we're going to add on those services so we can do everything. The one thing I don't have is dog training.
Yet?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that would be something that I would love to add. It's just, there's only so many trainers.
Yep.
And they're working out of their house or they're working somewhere else and they don't need me.
Yeah.
But I would love to have that as a potential.
Yeah. So what gives you the clarity and mindset to go from just the vet and that to now where you're offering all these services in one spot?
Yeah. At the old place, we had one groomer, and she could not keep up.
I couldn't get in.
See?
To even see her.
Exactly. And people still couldn't get in this year when I had 2.5 groomers.
I couldn't.
So, see?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's like a hairdresser. They have a schedule, and they book out for a year.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. And do you know why? It's because everyone has doodles now.
I'm part of that
See?
problem.
It's the
designer
doodle.
dog.
You guys need your dogs groomed every 8 weeks
6, yeah. 6 to 8, yeah.
Yes. So that's the problem.
Yeah.
There's not all these.
There's so many.
There's so many.
And
They
it's so
cannot
time
keep up.
intensive.
So time intensive. They're literally hand trimming these dogs if people want them to look good.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
It is.
And it's expensive for
As
you
somebody
guys,
who
too.
has done it on a whim, you know, I don't want to pay those prices. I'm going to try to do it on my own.
Yeah.
I'll pay those prices
Shear
all
it.
day.
Oh, really?
It took me so long, Colleen.
Yeah.
Like 5 hours grooming my dog. You laugh. I had her on the back picnic table I bought expensive animal shears.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
Yeah.
I'll leave it to the professionals. They do such a nice job.
They do a really, really good job.
But that dog, that designer dog with all that hair.
It is the doodle. That's what
Hold
changed.
up in all of the...
That's changed like groomers' lives.
I believe it, though. I mean, go for a walk in your town and you see everywhere doodles.
It's a majority of our pets.
Is that like the hottest dog breed right now that you guys see?
Yes, 100%.
Is the doodle. Did you have a time? So what I saw a thing about huskies or that type of dog with Game of Thrones when that was hot. Do you see trends like that?
French Bulldog trend.
Okay.
Like, I feel like that's still, but I feel like 3 years ago, it
was hot.
That is it.
And what's the reasoning behind that?
I wanted one too.
They're cute little dogs.
I was trying to talk Ben into it, and he's like, no, we don't need those snorty little.
We're not falling for it.
But they're so cute.
I agree.
They're so cute.
I like them.
Puggles, remember that? Serious? Puggles.
What's that? A poo?
Beagle pug. Huge trend for a while. And
not
they fizzled out.
smash-faced, or they are?
Less smashed. Less.
Okay, I could do that.
Yeah.
I can't do the shovel.
Yeah. No, they have that's like fizzled out. You don't see puggles anymore. No one breeds them. Doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
I mean, maybe they do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
But golden doodles is hot, or anything doodle.
Any
probably.
doodle. I just saw a Great Dane. What was it called? Dana doodle.
Never knew that one
I know.
existed.
See, you can make anything a doodle.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the designer aspect.
Yeah.
It's hot in our culture right now.
Oh man.
How do you stay up? Not just what's hot with the dogs, but on all of this technique and medicine and things I'm sure are rapidly changing inside of your arena. How do you stay up on that?
So we are required to do continuing education.
Okay.
Like, I need like 60 hours every time I renew my
stay
license.
current.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's huge conventions like the AVMA, or there's local ones at Iowa State. So we're required. And
Gotcha.
I absolutely do that. I love that stuff, actually. I kind of like that. I'm kind of nerdy.
That's
where I
not bad.
look forward to my convention.
Learning, yeah.
And you're just like in class all day picking up tips, you know, about new things. And I feel like a lot of stuff is extracted from human medicine. So if there's like new things in human medicine, they'll be like, can that work for animals?
Yeah.
Or if there's a medication that failed out of human drug trials, can we use that?
Does it have application here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, continuing education is how I do it. Or if I have a new grad come in, or a vet student, they're like, hey, did you know about this? Like I have this third-year student at Iowa State right now. He'll come back like over Christmas, and I'll be like, did you learn about this? I'm like, no, tell me about it. So
because they're inundated.
Yeah, they're in the university situation, learning about that stuff, maybe even researching those products.
Heck yeah.
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 So I love that stuff. I'm like, bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it. Like I hope I'm never one of those that's like, not my day. We didn't do that.
I hate that crap too.
Yeah, I hope that will never happen. I hope I'm like, what's this new drug? Let's go. Let's figure it out.
At least learn,
Yeah.
Lifelong learning. That's so important.
A lot of time too, like our distributors who provide the medications, they'll have, a drug rep. They're like, here's this new drug. Are you interested? Do you want to try it? Here's the things. And so people will come to us and bring those things to us.
And educate you on those things.
Yeah.
That's wild how much stuff there is. So we did speak beforehand because I just kind of had a question about zoonosis.
Zoonosis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I do realize rabies and stuff is transmitted from animals to humans and vice versa. Will you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yep. So anything that's zoonotic means that...
Zoonotic.
Yeah, and the zoonosis, zoonotic. Okay. It means that it can be transmitted from us to animals, animals to us. So one of the most common things that I warn families about are parasites.
And that's currently that's the thing that...
That's what I worry about. Like little kids, they're touching the puppy.
All the time.
Who has accidents.
Yep.
Maybe there's diarrhea or something. So like roundworms, hookworms, and actually some of those worms, they can actually touch. They could get in their eye. And they can get, it's creepy. It's called a larval migraine and get in their eye. More of a third world country thing, but legit, it could happen. Or like if they step in it, they can get migraines in their foot.
Yeah.
There's some bacterial diseases, like one's called leptospirosis. It's spread by the urine, and it causes like liver and kidney failure. People can get it. We usually get it when we swim in contaminated waters. Like there was a triathlon, and like everyone got sick
Because it was in that pond or wherever.
Cat scratch fever. I've gotten that before.
And that's not fictitious.
No, it's legit. But like it's in theory, the bacteria, like there's bacteria in their claws from whatever, and you'll get a scratch. And I get scratched all the time. So why would I think like, oh, I hope I don't get cat scratch fever this time?
This
get scratched
one time.
all the time.
Yeah.
And one time I remember it was, it was 2 years ago. I was like, something's sore in my arm. And I was like, oh, God, I got a big lymph node. And I freaked out. I was like, I'm going to get cancer.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. My kids are going to have a mom. I was like freaking out.
Instantly.
Because my lymph node was big. And when I think big lymph node, I think lymphoma.
Yeah.
Or something cancerous, because that's what we see in animals. And then I like went in. I was like, I need you to like take a biopsy and I need a mammogram. And I like went in and then I like told her, and she's like, okay, I'll order all that stuff up. And I was like, and I need it like tomorrow.
Yeah, because you're so stressed out.
I was so stressed out, and I like didn't want to like dink around with it. I was like, I want it diagnosed. And thankfully, it was like, yep, it's cat scratch fever. But I was worried it was cancer.
From you being at work and getting a scratch.
Yeah.
What's the worst injury you've ever taken being a veterinarian?
Just
you
bites.
Probably get bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like one time I had a dog it like bit and completely like ripped the skin off my hand. And it had like left teeth marks. I've been pretty lucky where I'm like quick. I'm like
you can
I can anticipate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've been around animals enough that
yes.
You kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah,
I'm sure,
I know. If I see a dog like side eye me like this, and I like go in and it lets it slip, I'm like,
yeah, we're not touching this.
We're not doing that because it's telling me like, come on, try it.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna get nailed.
No,
I don't mess with that. Or like a cat starts doing weird things, I'm like, okay, you know.
Is it easier to work with a certain type of animal for you?
I
just have a hard time with cats because I don't feel like they need us. They're just like so independent, and I'm like, do you even like me?
I know. See, I love a good cat.
Like, I've never experienced a great cat, so
I have 2 at home.
Okay.
They're amazing.
Yeah,
like literally, we have the best cats at home. They'll just like let you do whatever
and like you. And
because we do love them. Yeah,
I've had bad experiences with cats.
Yeah. You know, if I have a good cat in the room, it's the most quick and efficient exam. If I have a bad cat in the room, it's way harder than dealing with a bad dog. A bad dog, usually I can go to the owner and be like, I need you to put a muzzle on, and all I need to worry about is its mouth. Cats, they have 4 claws and their mouth. And then
dangerous.
They're just like ninjas.
Yeah.
And they can get out of it. So a bad cat is probably like the hardest.
For the most part, do people have control of their animals?
No, that's a good question. 50% of owners do not have control of their animals.
I feel so terrible because my dog's a 96-pound torpedo, but she just is so happy.
But she's happy.
Yeah. But it still stresses me out because I'm like, oh, I don't want you knocking over Colleen when we're in there.
Yeah.
But so the people don't have control.
No, definitely not.
What can we do
Some
as
do.
pet owners?
It's just, you know, you can tell when someone has their dog really well trained at home.
So training.
It's training. If you have a dog that can like heel, come to you on voice command, knows its boundaries, then the owners usually like do that in the exam room too. But some people just, you know, they're like a good dog, but they're not well trained. But they're good. They come in and they're just as bad.
All over.
But they're even more excited, right?
Yeah.
So it's even harder. But we're used to it. So as long as your dog's nice, we're okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's more, that soothes me a little bit because I always kind of get stressed out being there.
Now, if they're naughty and they have no control, then I have a hard time with it.
Right.
But we still have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then we, you know, bring in the reinforcements.
Yeah. Just so everybody can pin the thing down and do what you need to do.
I'll tell you this. I had the most awful, this is just, it's morbid, but I had one of the hardest awful euthanasias last year.
So when you're putting the animals down.
It was so aggressive and it bit a child. So it had to be put down. We could not get our hands on the animal to euthanize it. That I had to call an animal control. And like
serious.
Put 2 rabies poles on it. It was like 100-pound pit bull intact.
Dang.
Its jaw. I legit was like scared for my life. That's probably most scared I've ever been. So there's like situations like that where you're like, this isn't worth like someone truly getting injured.
Yeah. By a big animal, a 100-pound dog is a big
And then it
animal.
wanted to kill us. Like it wasn't just like, just don't mess with me. It was like, I'm going to lunge at you. So it was like, I will be the aggressor.
What was it? What was bad training? Why was
probably
the dog like
got
that?
away with all that over time.
Yeah.
And it never got told no. Sometimes, you know, here's the thing. You can tell when a person's not right mentally.
Yep.
Or there's things wrong. You can't tell with animals until they
it's
snap.
too late. Yeah.
And I can't tell if it's on the spectrum.
Right.
Or if it has sensory issues.
So all those things can apply.
They exist.
Yeah.
But they can't tell us they exist.
Right.
So you have to make assumptions. So not all animals are meant to be like family dogs or cats.
No, yeah, that's a strong sentiment.
Yeah.
We have this perception. Oh, it's a nice little dog.
Yeah.
There's a lot we don't know.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. What's your thought process? I've never had the opportunity to ask somebody who's in the know, so I look forward to hearing about dog breeds. Is there any certain, I mean, you know, you see on the news, these certain dog breeds are the ones that are.
Yeah.
What's your thought process from someone who has experience?
I could tell you everything wrong with probably every breed.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my favorite.
Chihuahua will.
Chihuahuas are little ankle biters.
Yeah.
You know, but then, man, some of them are so sweet and adorable. And
Yeah.
I could own a good Chihuahua, right? Because they're cool dogs. But notoriously, you walk in and you're like, am I going to get bit? You know?
Yeah, from a little teeny dog.
Yeah, little land sharks. That's what we call them.
Land sharks.
Land sharks. You know, or I walk in, you know, if you have a well-trained German Shepherd, but German Shepherds are super anxious. They're just naturally anxious animals.
Okay.
So if they're not well-trained, they're going to act out.
Especially in your area.
Mm-hmm. And they're talkers, barkers. They sound terrible, but sometimes their bark is way worse than their bite.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, a lot of the like chow type breeds, it's pretty rare that I meet a nice chow. And if I do, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Or they have to be muzzled or something. But sometimes you meet one and you're like, oh, good for you. You trained that dog really well. So that they have to train. They have to work the train.
It takes more training with those certain breeds as well, too, correct?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorites, it's a Cavalier King Charles, like Lady and the Tramp dog.
Yeah.
They're the best. They're so sweet.
Little teeny dog.
Well, they're not that teeny. I mean, they're like 20 pounds.
Yeah.
They're just sweet. They're gentle. Like, I don't walk in a room ever and think,
worried?
They're just the sweetest.
Huh.
Just good
Good
little
family
dogs.
dog,
Great
too?
family dog.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, there's our plug for the dog if people are looking.
Yeah. They're not cheap. I mean, everyone pays for doodles too. Like you pay fancy prices.
And that's just a mutt.
Yeah, it's a designer
my
one.
buddy gives me such a hard time.
Yeah.
He's got Rottweilers and they're purebred, and he talks so much trash about me having this designer dog. And, but it's a great. Ours is a great family dog. So it worked out for what we need it to. What you're in a situation you had said like when you first started you got anxious. When, you know, they put you in these situations and you might not know what to do. Yeah. There's still probably times when you don't have answers.
100%.
What do you do in those cases?
So I always am like super honest with clients.
Okay.
I've never seen this.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
This is the problem with your dog. Like it's showing these symptoms. There's a whole gamut of potentials. So I'm going to need to run these tests. And if they're like, well, we have financial limits or we can't do that. Or we're not going to go to Iowa State. I'm like, okay, well, here's my best guess. And here's a drug trial we can try, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. Like, here's my budget.
Yeah, because that's, I mean,
it's
not
a
everybody,
cash business. Like, there's insurance, but not less than, oh my gosh, I bet you less than 1% of my clients have insurance.
For their pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's usually the thing. It's like, okay, here's my limit. What's your best guess?
Yeah, yeah. Because that's what you can both do.
Yeah, and I'm just super open about it. I'm not going to be like, okay, it's this disease without knowing that. I'm going to be like, this is an open diagnosis, you know?
And that's all you can do. And we're going
to try. And a lot of times, we're on the right path. Yeah. And if it doesn't respond, it's like, if it doesn't respond, this is something worse. And we diagnose a ton of cancer because animals, they live a decade, and they're going to have to die somehow.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with people. It's like, they keep talking about, like, I always think about this. They always say, one day we're going to cure cancer. No, you're not. You'll cure certain cancers or young cancers, but the body has to die somehow.
Yeah.
It has to malfunction somehow.
It's constantly going decreasing.
It has to.
Yeah.
And it's a function of ending life. So you'll find cures for those specific cancers, but it's going to keep evolving because there has to be an end somehow.
Yeah.
So, but that's a huge thing. I diagnose that all the time in animals.
Cancer.
Yeah. All the time.
And it varies from the age of these animals?
It's usually older animals. When I diagnose a young one, it's devastating. Yeah. There's like certain cancers in like large breed dogs, for example. Happen. They can get bone cancer, like Rottweilers, Great Danes, they can get bone cancer. And it's called bimodal, where they can be like 2 or they could be 10. And when you see that 2-year-old, that's like devastating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's usually older animals. And like I actually have a wonderful, dedicated owner right now on a golden, and he has been battling lymphoma, very treatable, and the owner has repeatedly got this dog into remission. And he's like on his 3rd bout of chemo.
Jeepers,
yeah,
creepers.
But it's like the best dog and such a dedicated owner. And I was like, I think I would do what he's doing too.
Yeah, I mean,
because this dog just comes in and is like, he's not just surviving, he's like thriving.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to say when you're not in that position.
Correct. He's in that position that he's able to take care of his animal and do that.
And chooses to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
It's really cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I've met people, I love dogs, but I got my dog for my kids. I know the benefit of having a dog in the family.
Yeah.
There are some, people do treat animals just like their family. And when those hard decisions come, I imagine that's tough conversations to have, you know. And then, of course, the worldly problems of monetary, it comes into question, can I even afford to do this?
Yeah.
And that's tough.
There's times like we actually have a thing called Mr. Socks Fund.
Okay.
We had a cat named Mr. Socks, and
Very
this
cool.
sweet old gentleman, he still comes in, and he like donated money when his cat died. And he's like, I just want to make sure that
to help out in those
help out
situations.
people. And I was like, that's the sweetest thing ever. And now we have a Mr. Socks Fund. And so I keep it, and there's times that I'm like, this is a recurring owner. They want to do it, and they can't, like a big surgery.
Yeah.
And so we've definitely put money towards things.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's something that you guys have done to facilitate some of those.
And then I have a couple clients that will like donate to it, and they know, they're like, hey, we're in a scenario where we can take care of our animals, and they'll like throw a couple hundred, around Christmas to put into the fund.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to donate, that's something that they could do.
Mr. Socks Fund. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My staff all knows about it. So it's like, if they come in and do that, then
they'll know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Very neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those bills, they can pile up.
They sure can.
They can pile up fast.
And there's times that sometimes we're just like bleeding heart. That's the problem. It's like, you always feel this for these people. And the one thing I don't think that people know, every time I make a choice on what drug I'm going to use, I think about how it's going to financially impact these people. I like think I want this drug, and I'm like, I might not because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
I don't think people think that. They don't know that I do that. That's what I do every time. Every time it's like in my brain.
Something
or I'm like
that you
generating
think
an
about.
estimate. I'm like, how can I make this more economical? Every time. Not once do I ever think like, doesn't matter. Like I think it every time. And Ben thinks it every time. Amanda thinks it every time. Like it's like the nature of our beast. We're always like, we just try to make it as reasonable as possible. Maybe not everyone's like that, but I feel like a majority of our field's like that.
As veterinarian?
People just don't know it though.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, all I do is pay bills, and yeah you do. You know, but God, if you saw your bill at a human,
Oh, yeah.
like you just go in and they staple you, they're like $900.
Oh, yeah, 900 is cheap.
And then the insurance pays the majority of it. But
$3,000 bill, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, we just glued your head.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, $1,000.
100% true.
Yeah, and I'll, if I'll do that, I'm like, it's your exam, and I'll glue it. No charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those little things.
Yeah,
that
just those little
would
things that
add
I'm like,
up.
I'll just put that into my exam fee.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's a true testament to you're in the career you're in for the right reasons. It wasn't to become a millionaire vet. It was because since 5, 6, you loved animals. And that's awesome.
Thanks.
That's awesome to hear. Hell yeah. Do you have a favorite breed?
The King Charles, remember?
Oh, yeah, that is your favorite. That's your
okay,
favorite
wait,
type of
hold
dog.
on.
But
I have a Doberman mix. He's 50-50. I feel like I might get, like, if I would totally look at, like, a pure breed Doberman.
what calls to you with that dog? Intelligence, I've heard.
They're super obedient. They're actually, like, really fun and goofy, too. They're very playful. Like, they're not, you think, like, Doberman, like, ears up, attack dog. But every Doberman that comes into my practice, they're goofy and fun.
Huh.
They're great dogs. That's another great dog. And they're not, like, overly anxious. Well, they're usually very obedient, like, very perimeter-oriented. Huh. Like, I don't have a fence, and my dog does not leave my yard. I mean, he'll leave my yard to say hi to my neighbor. He knows my yard.
Yeah.
He doesn't leave it.
And it's just
he'll, like, run to the bunny and stop at the edge.
That is awesome.
But that's training, too.
Yeah.
Like, we've taught him.
Training needs to start young, or can you teach an old dog?
No, you can teach an old dog.
So there's hope.
There's hope.
Okay.
You can always do it.
Yeah.
They're smart. You just got to do it. You got to put the time in.
So mostly it's a human thing.
It's our problem.
Our consistency.
It's our consistency. It's almost always a lack of training, because if you just, it's always like lots of energy. They don't get to burn off their energy. They're not getting exercise enough. Like, those animals are meant to do miles upon miles of, like,
Hard
migrating.
work.
Hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like not getting a burn off of energy, nervous energy, and then just not training them to do what you want them to do because it takes time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Reinforcement and working with them and consistently doing it versus letting them get away with bad.
Yeah, bad behavior. Sounds a lot like kids.
Yeah.
There's not that much different.
Oh, gosh.
The only thing left I have for you is how have you seen this practice change since you came into it, and what do you hope for the future in veterinary medicine?
So
that's a big question.
Ben and I keep saying Ben and I, but like he's like literally my partner in crime with everything. We started it with just like, well, let's just be a 2-doctor practice. We'll be fine that way. And then we're like, our goal, almost mission statement was like quality time medicine. Like that's what you're paying for is like our time, like we're not going to just rush people through, right? And and we'll get everything in. If something's sick and they call that day, we will see them. We're not going to make them wait. Now, people will wait now. Things have changed because we'll try to decide what's important and what's not.
Yeah,
but we will get everything in. So we were like, happy clients. Let's go. Keep them coming. Referral, word of mouth.
Yeah. And
then we just started just expanding and growing dramatically because of that. And then we're like, okay, let's bring in a 3rd doctor. And same thing. She's like shared our passion and our mission.
Yeah.
And we're at this point where we've expanded and we've gotten so many like good clients now. So ultimately, I think our goal is maybe like a 4-doctor practice.
Okay.
And then I feel like we'd be good. Okay.
We'll see.
But also that would give Ben and I time to maybe cut back a little.
Yeah.
Maybe like, at the end of the day, I can actually go to my kids' events, where I'm not like rushing or I'm missing things because they're starting to get older. But like a 4-doctor practice, I feel like it would be balanced where we're both in it still, we're both managing it still, but then we have 2 other associates that are working with us.
You're not just doing the veterinarian stuff. You guys also own this practice and have to keep up with all that stuff.
Dad pays the bills. Mom works with the staff. Like I kind of am like the
you
HR.
guys split stuff?
Yeah.
Like
he does all the numbers, all the accountant, manages the books, makes the financial decisions. And then I do like all of the HR stuff, when there's a problem with hiring and firing was my stuff, but now we've got a really good staff supervisor that her and I work directly and she does that.
Yeah.
But everyone knows to come to me for all the issues and like bounce things off and resolve issues.
Big time issues at the clinic. Crazy stuff ever happen? I mean,
not bad, like nothing crazy. One time, I'll tell you this.
Okay,
One time, this is an interesting story.
Talk dirt on the
At the old building, we had a guy that was like threatening to kill us. He was not mentally stable.
Yeah,
not mentally stable.
The clinic, huh?
We had to call the cops, and the sad part is Ben and I were both out of town, and he came like it was like involving a case. He was like unhappy about it. The funny thing is the dog was alive and doing well. It was just like he thought like we shouldn't have done something, and we did do it. And we explained it to him, and there's probably drugs involved. He probably was, not right when he came in and didn't understand everything. And point is, he shouldn't have done what he did, but he was like standing outside threatening my staff. Wow. Cops had to get called.
Didn't expect that.
No. And like we had to like we got subpoenaed to court because he threatened to kill someone else. And we were like in the same situation. Yeah. So it just goes. Dang, so that happened. And that's why you should carry a gun to work on emergency.
If you're on emergency. Yeah.
That's probably honestly the only crazy thing. In Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need to go into the past.
No,
but,
we don't need to.
My dog accidentally was confused, not at your establishment, with another dog, another golden doodle, and a different family took my dog home.
What?
Yeah.
They didn't know their dog?
He did not at all. And it gets worse, Colleen. So I show up to pick up my 96.
Remember, this is not at my establishment.
This is not at your establishment. And to foreshadow the story, the veterinarian who owns that establishment handled it perfectly.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue.
Yeah.
But I almost shit. I walk in and they say, "Oh, we'll go get your dog." And it took an extremely long time. Yeah. I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, it seems like we accidentally gave your dog to a different owner." And I was like, "Get out of here. Like, you're just, where's the camera?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, it was a golden doodle too." And I'm like, "Oh, okay.
I'll take that one then."
Yeah. Okay. But they bring that one out, and it's like 50 pounds. My dog's 96 pounds. My dog is a female. This dog is a male. This dog has like spots on its belly.
How did the owner not figure that out?
It gets bad. He comes back with the dog, and he's chuckling, and he's an older gentleman, and he goes, "You're really going to laugh at this. I taught biology for 35 years before this." I'm like, "You didn't realize you had a different sex dog?" Nope, not at all.
Well, and that's a huge difference in size.
Oh, yeah. Their dog was a third of the size as Lucy, but...
Yeah. Here's the thing. You make a mistake,
you
own it.
Own it. And he did. The vet did. He's like, "What can I do to make it right?" You know? I'm like, "Nothing." I
think it goes a long way. You try to lie and cover stuff up, it makes people irate.
I would have been pissed.
Yeah, if someone lies to you, you're like,
start
don't lie to
saying,
me.
"That
Just
dog
own
is
it."
my child." What are you thinking? Instantly.
Oh.
So, hell yeah. So that was the craziest thing that's ever happened, but not at your establishment.
We always have to handle, like, this is another thing I have to handle. People these days, if you don't do something right or they're not happy, where's it going to go?
Online.
You're going to get blasted.
Blasted. Crucified.
So that's what, like, and that's another thing we work really hard on is like good word of mouth and like our rating and whatnot.
And your image.
Our image. And like, we will respond respectfully if someone says something like, just so it's like out there.
Yeah.
And if that's not the right situation, but like, actually, with all due respect, you decline that. You know, people will say stuff, but they won't give the whole story.
Half of the story to paint you into the picture.
Or it's completely inaccurate. Or it's even a client, or not a client, a non-client. You're like, "You're not our client. We can't find you in the computer. Are you sure this is the right thing?" Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a tough business.
It is.
All the way around.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
There's always someone to complain about something, right? Yeah. So that's a lot. We handle a lot of that stuff.
Not just the dogs and cats.
There's a lot of... If someone ever says they want to go into vet med, but they don't want to talk to people, wrong business. You can't. Wrong business. That's all I do is talk to people all day. And I actually enjoy it. Like, I love a good exam day where I'm like shooting the crap. Yeah, shooting the crap with people, and I love it.
That's how I knew you'd be a great guest, because coming in, we're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. We're just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And it was
I enjoy
awesome.
it. Like, I'm a people person. Like, I'll talk. I love it.
But you're also an animal person.
I am. I do love my animals.
The last thing before I get you out of here, exotics. That's something that you practice?
Yep, self-learned.
What sort of animals are we talking that people in Iowa that you've seen?
Hedgehogs, rabbits, chinchillas. Yeah, people will bring in, like, it's always little kids with their little hamsters or guinea pigs. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything cool. That
like alligators?
No. See, here's the deal. I will not see reptiles or birds. If anyone owns a reptile or a bird, I'll do like a bearded dragon euthanasia, or I'll euthanize something because I can do that. But if someone owns those, they know more about them than I do. Okay. Full disclosure, because they do not teach that in school. So anything
self-learned.
Like anything with like pocket pets, I've had to learn myself out of school, like in textbook, asking other exotic vets, like, how would you do this? Looking it up on our like veterinary information network, because there's like a whole network where there's like specialized people that will answer your questions. You can put pictures up and consult them. Yeah. So I have learned that all by myself. So just we will not do like reptiles and birds. I think they're super cool. I love to hold them. I wish I could own a bird, but I don't love that because I think they should fly free. Yeah. They're really cool. When I was in Denver, we actually had a wallaby come in.
See, stuff like that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that is cool.
On emergency, it was having seizures.
As long as it's like properly cared
ferrets, we see ferrets too. I love ferrets. They're fun.
Ugh, see, that
they're fun.
Kind of creeps me out. Some of those things.
They're like little cats. They're a lot of fun. See, raccoons. We've had some raccoon babies.
Pet raccoons. Or people find them.
Or you're not supposed to handle those. That's like illegal.
Okay.
Because that's like considered wildlife. But like we've had ones. Yeah, like people will have like pet raccoons, and like they'll get vaccinated, and like I was going to neuter one.
Like a dog.
They're kind of like cats. But they get into trouble, though, because they have the little hands.
Yeah, mischievous, I'm sure.
They are.
I'm sure.
Oh, man, they're trouble.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, no snakes. No.
I'll handle one. Ben won't. He's terrified of them.
I hate them, too.
Yeah, I'm not scared at all. Pick them up.
Yuck.
Yeah, they're cool.
Before you get out of here.
Okay.
We got to take you to the firing range. But first, I want to thank my amazing sponsors, Mattress by Appointment Cedar Falls, Brennan Family Dentistry, and Cool Fit. Please support these fine local establishments as they sponsor and support these podcast episodes. Are you ready to rock and roll? This or that, whatever speaks to you, you answer. Okay. Are you taking cats or dogs for your favorite?
Cats.
Small animals or large animals?
Small.
East Coast or Midwest?
East Coast.
Country life or city living?
Country life.
Snakes or lizards?
Lizards.
Are you a planner or are you spontaneous?
Spontaneous.
Sounds great. Monday or Fridays?
Fridays.
Fly or are you driving?
Flying.
Dinner or do you call it supper?
Dinner.
I like that. And are you the fan of past, the present, or your future?
Present.
Oh, it's a tough one. There's nothing like the present.
Present.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed our chat, and I appreciate what you're doing in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Have a great day.
You too.